All right, so today we're diving into something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction.
Yeah.
Human-monkey hybrids.
It does sound a little sci-fi, doesn't it? But
I know.
it's real.
Right.
And there's actual science happening here.
Yeah, it's not just like a movie thing, right?
It's not some mad scientist in a basement.
Yeah.
It's happening at reputable institutions.
And the reasons for doing it, I mean, they are really interesting.
Yeah, we've got 3 sources that we're looking at today from some pretty well-respected news outlets, too.
Okay.
We have Al Jazeera,
Right.
Sky News Arabia, and Deutsche Welle.
So a range of different perspectives.
Yeah.
Of different parts of the world.
All covering the same study, which is scientists injecting human stem cells into monkey embryos.
Okay, stem cells and embryos.
Right.
I think maybe we should define those a little bit for our listener.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So stem cells, you can kind of think of them as like the building blocks of the body.
Yeah.
They can become any cell, really.
Oh, wow.
So they can become muscle cells.
Right.
They can become bone cells, brain cells.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And embryos are just a very early stage of development for any animal,
right,
including humans.
Okay, so they're putting these human building blocks into developing monkeys.
Yes.
I mean, that's already kind of wow.
Yeah.
But I just want to be clear for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Our sources are very clear on this, that these embryos, they were not allowed to fully develop.
Right. So no monkey-human hybrids walking around.
Yeah. No Planet of the Apes here.
Yeah.
They were terminated.
Exactly.
Before they could,
long before they could be born.
Right.
Yeah. And this is a really important point to make because it shows that the scientists involved were aware of the ethical concerns.
Right.
And they set very clear limits on how far this research could go.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That they're thinking about the ethical side of this.
Yeah, definitely.
But it still makes me wonder, why? Why would they even...
Why even go down this road?
To tempt this?
Why do it?
What were they hoping to get out of this?
So all of the sources point to one major goal, and that's growing human organs for transplantation.
Oh, interesting.
You see, there's a massive shortage of organs in the world. People who need transplants.
Wow.
Yeah. They often have to wait a very long time.
Right.
And some of them, sadly, die waiting.
For a heart or a liver or a kidney. Or...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wow. I actually never thought of it like that.
Yeah. It's a huge problem.
A really, really big deal.
Yeah. And so if they could solve that...
That would be...
It would be huge.
Really game-changing for so many people.
So many people, yeah.
Wow.
And so that's why this research, even though it might seem controversial to some, is driven by such a powerful human motivation to save lives.
Yeah, that puts it into perspective.
Yeah, I mean, beyond that, the sources also mention some other potential benefits.
Okay.
Like a deeper understanding of human development.
Interesting.
And how diseases work. Okay. And how we might be able to treat those.
So maybe things like autism or
potentially
Alzheimer's, maybe.
Yeah, all sorts of things.
Interesting. Okay.
So
they set out with this really,
ambitious goal.
Yeah, ambitious goal.
Yeah.
To try to solve this problem.
Right.
Grow organs, maybe advance medical knowledge.
Yeah.
But what did they actually discover? Did it work?
So one of the most interesting discoveries that came out of this research was that they introduced a specific human gene into these monkey embryos.
Okay.
And it's called, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
ARHGAP11B.
Okay, I'm going to need you to break that one down.
Okay. Yeah. So this gene, it plays a key role in brain development.
Okay.
You can think of it as like a growth booster for the brain.
Okay.
So when they introduced this human gene...
into these monkey embryos.
Right.
What they found is that the monkey brains grew significantly larger.
Wow.
And they started developing folds.
Yeah.
Similar to what you see in human brains.
So they're giving monkey embryos more human-like brains.
Yeah. That's pretty wild, isn't it?
Kind of unsettling.
It is.
Yeah, and it sounds like the scientists recognize this too.
Yeah, it seems so.
Because the YouTube video we watched actually mentions
it talks about a
failed experiment.
Yeah, a failed experiment.
What happened there?
So it seems like they actually had to stop the growth of brain cells in one of the monkey embryos.
Why?
Because they were afraid it was developing something resembling human consciousness.
Okay, so they were being very careful.
It seems so, yeah.
I didn't.
Trying to draw a very clear line.
Yeah, no monkey-human hybrid babies.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
But even with all this, even with the precautions, this kind of research raises a lot of ethical questions, doesn't it?
It definitely does.
I mean, it makes you wonder, like, where do we draw the line?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, we've all seen those movies,
right.
where it's like, oh.
The Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, exactly. The whole, like, things go wrong.
Yeah, it's a natural reaction, I think, to feel a little bit unsettled by the idea of blurring those lines between humans and other species.
Yeah, it's like we're messing with nature.
Right.
A little bit.
But it's important to remember, this research is still very early.
Yeah.
And the scientists are being cautious.
Okay. That's good.
Taking steps to prevent, unintended consequences.
So maybe Planet of the Apes, not quite yet.
Not quite yet.
But are there other ethical concerns that maybe are a little more
immediate?
Yeah, immediate.
Yeah, so the sources highlight a few areas.
Okay.
One is this idea that even with careful monitoring, we could unintentionally create animals with a level of consciousness that is just
that makes them
more human.
Yeah, more human-like
than we're comfortable with.
Yeah.
And then the question becomes, well, how do we treat those beings?
Exactly.
What kind of rights do they have?
That's a really good point.
It's a tough one.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Like what are the rules there?
Yeah, and I don't think anyone has the answer to that yet.
And I don't think the sources really clear.
Don't really have answers.
Yeah.
They mostly present the questions.
Yeah. What other concerns did they bring up?
Another big one is the potential for misuse of this technology.
Right. So it's like it gets into the wrong hands.
What if this research falls into the wrong hands?
Yeah. And
it's used to create.
Yeah, creating like
animals for
super soldiers? Or...
Yeah, for military purposes or for intelligence purposes.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's a chilling thought.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, but even with all of that, like the potential upsides are huge.
Yeah.
Right. Think of all the lives that could be saved.
Exactly.
If we could just grow organs.
Yeah.
In a lab.
That's the dilemma, right?
Yeah.
How do you balance the potential benefits?
Right. The good versus...
the lives saved.
Yeah.
The suffering alleviated.
Right. Yeah.
Against the risks.
Yeah. The what ifs.
The unknowns.
Yeah.
It's not an easy answer.
Yeah. No, it feels like every step forward.
It feels like
in science almost comes with like
every step forward comes with
baggage.
Yeah, ethical concerns.
Yeah.
It's like we almost need a new set of rules.
I know.
To figure out
it's like we needed
how to deal with all this.
A whole new ethical framework to think about this stuff.
Yeah.
And the sources don't really provide that, They're really just presenting these different perspectives and kind of leaving it to the reader to ponder,
Or the listener.
Or in our case, the listener.
Yeah.
To really think about, okay, where do
you draw the line?
Draw the line.
What am I
comfortable with?
Okay, so
yeah.
We know this particular experiment was stopped.
Yeah.
But is this kind of research?
Is it going to stop altogether?
Yeah, is it going to stop altogether?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I mean, scientists are driven by this desire
to explore,
to understand life, to push the boundaries,
push the limits
of what's possible. And this type of research, it has the potential to really revolutionize medicine.
Okay.
So I think while there might be
setbacks
and ethical debates, it's probably going to continue.
So you're saying we could actually see a future,
I think so,
where they're growing human organs.
It's possible.
In animals.
Definitely within the realm of possibility.
Wow.
And if that happens, that
would be huge.
That would be a monumental achievement with the potential to really transform
healthcare.
Yeah. But it would also bring all those ethical concerns.
Front and center.
Yeah. Right to the forefront.
Like, how do we deal with this?
Yeah. And it would force us to make
some
tough choices.
As a society.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is.
We've gone from monkey embryos with human genes to potentially growing organs.
Growing organs and saving lives.
Yeah.
But also all these ethical questions.
And it all raises these really fundamental questions about what it means to be human. Our relationship
to nature,
to the natural world, and the limits
of science,
of scientific exploration.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It really makes you think about where we're headed.
It does, doesn't it?
As a species, like what's next?
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
It is.
We started with these monkey embryos and ended up talking about The meaning of life.
Kind of crazy.
It's wild.
That's the beauty of these deep dives, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You start with something.
We take something complex.
Yeah, that seems complex.
And break it down.
And suddenly it's like, whoa.
And then you end up.
Yeah, the big questions.
With these big questions.
So for our listener, who's probably like,
yeah,
whoa, what did I just listen to?
Trying to process all of this.
Yeah. What would you say is the main takeaway here?
I think the most important thing to remember is that science is always pushing the boundaries.
It's not stopping.
It's just not stopping.
It's always going further.
It's always going to keep going further.
And that's going to lead to more ethical questions.
Yeah. With every breakthrough, there are going to be new ethical challenges.
So it's not just about the science itself.
No.
It's about how we use it.
Exactly.
And the rules we create around it.
Yeah, the ethical framework we build.
Like, what are the limits?
And that's where informed citizens.
Like people, like our listener.
Like our listener, yeah.
Come in.
Because the more we understand these issues, the better equipped we are.
Right, to make decisions.
To have these conversations.
To make good choices.
And make informed decisions.
So knowledge is power.
Definitely.
Especially when it comes to things like...
Especially with science.
Science and technology.
Because science and technology.
Because it's moving so fast.
Yeah, if we don't keep up, we're going to be left behind.
Yeah. So to our listener,
yeah,
we leave you with this.
Keep thinking about these dilemmas.
Yeah. Where do you draw the line?
Yeah. What are you comfortable with?
And as a society, where do we go from here?
Yeah. Those are the questions we need to be asking.
Keep learning.
Keep questioning.
Keep having those deep dive conversations.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.